Hi Scorpio, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your May 2025 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as well as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic Oracle spread as always, and also pulled the 4 Agreements and Wisdom of the Oracle card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off a roll nose astrology as we have in front of us to get an idea of where your folks should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Virgo, and Virgo is actually your 11th house of friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. Astrologically speaking, it's a little quiet there right now, but we do have the South Node in there. And speaking of nodes, we have the North Node. So the North Node is in Pisces, and there's plenty of other energies going on there. Although, recently we had Neptune finally move out of there and into Aries, but we still have Saturn moving through there, and it will be conjunct with the North Node for a bit before it moves into Aries. It'll move into Aries around the 24th of May, so some pretty heavy energy there. And we have 12. So 12th house energy for you guys is Libra, and astrologically speaking, pretty quiet area of the sky there as well. We did have the full moon there recently, but other than that, nothing really going on there. But 12th house in general points to spirituality, blind spots, and mental health. Keep that all in mind as we go through the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the 5 of Wands, Leo energy, and challenging that, we have the World. So really, I see this playing out a couple different ways. For one, I do view the World as actually a representative of the North Node, so significant to see that come out here as well. But see this playing out one of two ways. Could just be saying that there could be conflict in your environment, and you guys might be in the been there, done that kind of energy to where you're like, okay, I know this isn't going to lead anywhere, and you more or less stay out of it because you've already learned that lesson, and then in that case, you're going to reap the rewards from that. But I do have to say, for others of you, it could be that way around, right? Where this is saying you haven't learned that lesson yet, so you might find yourselves engaging in these kinds of conflicts because the lesson hasn't been learned yet. Now, for the majority of you, I feel like it's more the first scenario, but do have to at least leave the possibility of the second one. All right, in the foundation position, we have the 4 of Wands. So this is Aries energy here. So yeah, so another indicator that says to me that for the majority of you, you are in a place of harmony, right? You're not really willing to entertain that lower vibration energy. You're just doing your own thing. It seems like things are going well for you guys. For some of you, this could be within your work environment as well. But that's what I see with that. All right, in the past position, we have the 7 of Swords. So for some of you, this could be saying, for those of you who have learned the lesson, right, you might have even found yourselves in this position at one point where you might have been the ones who were a bit deceptive, and maybe you learned through that over time to where now you're not going to engage in that kind of energy again, and you could spot that kind of behavior in others. But for others of you, this could also just be saying that this is a dynamic you've dealt with before, right? Maybe if there has been a deception in the past, it's like, all right, you could spot it right away now to where you're like, okay, you know what, this is just how this person or this group operates. I'm not even going to bother wasting my time with it. Right, in the present position, we have the 6 of Wands. So to me, if nothing else, this says that if this is something that ends up being viewed by others outside of the conflict, I feel like this is saying that ultimately you're going to come out looking better in the situation than the people who actively engage in it. So let's just say this is something that happens to play out in public, right? People see the way you handled it, and like, you know what? Looks like Scorpio definitely did it the right way. So even though they might have been trying to engage and pull you into it, it looks like the way you treat it is actually going to elevate your status around the situation. All right, in the near future position, we have the Page of Wands. So this could just be saying if this is a group that you find yourselves dealing with often, you might just finally get to the point where, like, you know what, maybe I just need to cut ties with this group altogether. So for some of you, for example, maybe it's a toxic workplace, right? Or whatever the case may be. To me, this says that you look like you might just be in the mood to explore a new environment. In the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Tower. So again, given what we were talking about in the beginning and in the context that these other cards have added to it so far, for the majority of you, this looks like if there is a Tower moment, it's going to be more of one that you're actually creating purposely, right? Where, like I said, if you have people who just energetically want to attach to you and pull you down into some conflict and you ignore it, right, that could cause the Tower for them in that regard, because it's like they didn't get what they were hoping to get out of the situation. Um, Now, for others of you, like I said, if there could be a smaller percentage of you where you guys haven't learned that lesson yet and you're still engaging in those kinds of things, I could just be saying that in that regard, that could lead to a Tower that more directly impacts you. But either way, it looks like you will be playing an important role in the Tower this month, so I don't feel like it's going to completely catch you off guard in that regard. And I mean, this does make sense to an extent as far as there is going to be that full moon in your sign on the 12th of the month. And, that does tend to be a time when we do bring things to an end. All right. In the environment position, we have the Knight of Cups. So ultimately, this could just be the energy that you're going to embody, right? So again, like I said, I feel like for the majority of you, you're going to spot this from a mile away, know exactly what it's about, and just find your way out of the situation and just, in the process, just move forward toward better things. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Emperor. So for some of you, maybe you will find that little part of you, right, that does feel like you want to just get back into that energy, right, where even though you know better, right, but you're like, you know what, I just want to give them a piece of my mind, right, set them straight, and then go about my day. So to see the Emperor here, I feel like this is saying that you're actually hoping to have the restraint to not, because you do know better, right? So you're like, okay. So again, like we said, we get that it's easier said than done when you're actually in the middle of it. But I feel like this is ultimately you hoping that, like, you know what, I know better, even though I really just want to get in there and handle this. Let me hopefully stay calm and composed. And in the outcome position, we have the Two of Wands. So more Aries energy here. And yeah, so for me, ultimately, this is saying that for some of you at the very least, all of this could be taking place to make you realize that you might need to cut ties with people who have been in your environment. So given that we were talking about how the Virgo energy is your 11th house of groups, hopes and wishes, friendships, and we have the South Node there, it could just be saying that energetically it could just be the right time for you to leave those dynamics behind. All right, bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Cups. So to me this says that you probably also have had some ideas around how to handle the situation as well, but maybe just been holding back on them for a while. So again, like I said, if this is maybe a group that at one time you really did resonate with, right? Like I said, for some of you, there might have been a point where even you were comfortable engaging in that kind of energy, but now if it's not your thing anymore, some of you could have even just been holding on to it for nostalgia's sake, right? So if that's the case, looks like you guys might be ready to release it this month. All right, from the Four Agreements deck, we have Always Do Your Best and Take Action on Your Ideas. Okay, it says doing your best means to take action. You can have many great ideas in your head, but without action upon an idea, there will be no manifestation, no results, and no reward. So, definitely a positive message there, and that does make me think of the fact that you guys had Mars in your 9th house of Cancer for a really long time, which is also what that card energy represents there too. And now it's going to be in your 10th house. So it could just be saying, yeah, maybe you had a lot of great ideas in your mind, but now with Mars moving through your 10th, now is the time to actually bring it out for public consumption. All right. From the Wisdom Oracle, we have Time to Go. There's the artwork. The number is 45. See what this has to say. All right, essential meanings says endings, completion, walking away from something because there is nothing else to learn or experience. The Oracle's message: you are at the end of one journey and have not yet begun the next. This is the moment to bless your experience thus far. Take stock of what you've learned. It's time to move on to new experiences and a new way of being. There is nothing left for you to do, be, or experience in your present circumstances. Take the risk and move on, even if you need to be in transition for a time. Your destiny is calling you. So yeah, definitely seems to align for the most part with what we were talking about as we went through the main spread. And again, like I said, the timing of your full moon in your sign being this month as well seems to be quite fitting too. The relationship message says it's over, or at the very least, the form this relationship has taken is no longer of service to you or the other person. This is a time of letting go, of knowing that the journey has come to its conclusion. That doesn't mean anything is lost. Although this card could speak to a breakup, drifting apart, or the end of a soul contract, it is more about release than destruction. Remember the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Endings are always a sign of new beginnings. If you want something deeper, walk away. So yeah, definitely a positive message here as well. I do have to say this didn't necessarily come across as like a romantic partnership type of dynamic that you guys are going through, but if you're looking for guidance there, hopefully that resonated. And lastly, the prosperity message says, this message is clear. The path you've been on with your work, creative projects, and business alliances have come to an end. You will not find the success you desire by continuing with what is now in front of you. This is an auspicious sign because there is no choice that will benefit you other than risking stepping into the unknown. It is time to walk towards something new. This card also pertains to the more neutral concept of completion. You've finished your task and can rest assured that this ending will open up a powerful new avenue of opportunity, even better than you can imagine. You have done all you can, now trust that Spirit keeps the plan moving forward. Fortune requires you to conclude this chapter of your life, and remember that when you close one door, another opens. So yeah, this definitely seems to align with what we were saying there. Seeing that Two of Wands and the Page of Wands, where, like I said, you might ultimately decide that this is a dynamic where it seems to be something that keeps coming to the surface. In the dynamic you're in, you might decide that ultimately you want to explore a new environment, possibly a new group to interact with. But hopefully that resonates with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.